I am absolutely positive that the videos you're about to watch today you have never seen before in your entire life. And that's because the videos you're about to see are quite literally the rarest videos to ever exist. It's a combination of historical footage, lost media, and just things in general that you're gonna be like, wait, what? This exists? So without further ado, grab your popcorn, let's do this. If you're a fan of basketball, then you're probably aware of Wilt Chamberlain. He's one of the greatest centers of all time, and he allegedly scored 100 points in a single game, which is the NBA record. And a lot of people don't believe it happened because there wasn't video footage back in the day to highlight it, despite the fact that there was video footage of a lot of other things. And so people have, I think, rightfully called into question whether or not this was legit. But I found a YouTube video that kind of disproves that. So let's take a look. All right, so there he is. Got a little Kareem skyhook going. And there was no three-point line back in the day. I mean, this is potato quality. I'm pretty sure there's footage of Babe Ruth that is much better than this, and he played like 40 years prior to Wilt. And it's true. I mean, look, he's playing with white people. Whenever you're playing against like a 6-foot white guy who like part-times as a janitor and a teacher, you better be dropping 100. Wilt was like 7 feet tall. He also apparently slept with 20,000 women, which if you do the math, it doesn't really add up. So I don't know how legitimate that is. But there he is. Yeah, I mean, he's an unstoppable force. What do you expect? I mean, he's massive, and he's playing against literal plumbers. And then there it is post-game, his iconic picture with a piece of paper in which he wrote 100. It's semi-conspiracy, but I think we just found footage of the game, so I guess he did it. So legitimate record. Now we have Anne Frank. If you don't know who this is, she's a historical figure. She was a German Jewish girl, and she was under the Nazi persecution, and she basically kept a diary under her bed or her pillow, and the diary of Anne Frank ended up being released upon her death, and it just basically chronicled everything that's happened. And this is kind of actually it is the only existing film of her ever. So this must have been from like 1945, I think, post-war. But here we go. So obviously no sound. I don't think they were savvy enough back then. Oh, there she is. So there's Anne Frank, and I think she was like 15 or 16 years old at that point. It's just wild seeing like historical figures in the flesh. It almost makes me wish that we had like colorized photos and everything from like the 1600s. So we see just some crazy figures like Christopher Columbus just vlogging his trip to America from 1492. But that's Anne Frank. So a lot of people haven't seen this. I guess 6.6 million people have, but still historical. So one of the really cool things about AI is that it's able to restore a lot of broken footage and decolorized footage. And so what we have here is a video utilizing AI in which we could see different cities in 1890. So over 130 years ago, this is what Jerusalem and Israel first off looked like. Now we have the Czech Republic, and these are just kids. I mean, these kids are probably like 8 to 10 years old, I'd say. Look how nice they dress. Nowadays, you just have people wearing Gymshark, cut off, whatevers with hats and stuff. These people were so proper. Look at them. Now we have Italia. You'll see this Titanic level ship sailing. Isn't it amazing that people that long ago built these massive ships? I feel like people think they were smarter now than they were back then. But then you have like the Library of Alexandria containing like the truths of aliens and stuff. Here's Moscow. So this is Russia, or I guess the Soviet Union at the time. Yeah, I mean, like when you look at it, it just kind of looks like, you know, New York City, gangs of New York, like just in the 1800s. This is just, it's an urban city. There's Tokyo. This is some really lost footage, but Tokyo, I mean, it looks like they're a little bit further behind than Moscow at this point in time, despite them having a literal empire. Here's Britain. I guess there was like roller coasters back then. What am I looking at? Did roller coasters really exist in 1890? And if so, like why? There's no way this was safe. I'm pretty sure the car came out in 1885 or something by Carl Benz. So I'm not sure why they invented like literal roller coasters around then too. That guy just wants nothing to do, just walking straight through their street performance. Okay, this is the coolest guy I've ever seen. He's got a big top hat and a mustache. He almost looks fake. If I was a time traveler trying to disguise myself, this is exactly what I would do. I'd get a pipe and I would just blow it. What you're looking at right here is the first Minecraft video to ever be uploaded to the internet. And this is from 2009, May 17th. I made a weird construction that wasn't screenshotable. So here's this person, and look, I don't play Minecraft. I've played literally 3 times in my entire life, and I don't even think it was the actual like Java Bedrock version. I think that's what it's called. So we have this person. I mean, the frame rate on this is quite low. We're probably operating with like 5 frames per second. This is really bad. I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, what is the goal of this video? Like, this person uploaded a video titled Minecraft, and they don't seem to be like really heading anywhere. They're just like kind of in free play. But I guess that's the appeal of Minecraft. I mean, you could quite literally just do whatever you want. It's a sandbox game and people like it. Welcome to Minecraft. So thank you as a result of Jean-William Nijmen, Dream, George Not Found, Tommy In It, all those like Minecraft, whatever it's called, the Dream SMP. I don't know. Do people still watch Minecrafters? I feel like I haven't heard from them in a while. Are they doing okay? Hopefully. All right, now we have Epstein's finest, Dr. Stephen Hawking. Not only is he colorized because he didn't live too long ago, but there is video of him talking with his own voice prior to him using his machine, in which it was like beep, 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 up, and he's like, I want to go to Epstein's Island. So let's look at it.
You wouldn't see anything special if you passed inside the black hole.
Insane that that guy is able to transcribe what Stephen Hawking is saying right there. I don't understand how you can decode what he just said. I was listening hard. I'm sure Stephen Hawking was thrilled once they came up with that machine to help him communicate, because it must have been really difficult otherwise to communicate. Yeah, I'm just shocked at how the interpreters were able to understand. That is actually insane. It's probably harder to understand Stephen Hawking right there than to like understand Mandarin, which I think is the hardest language to learn. Maybe you guys can check me on that if you speak it, or maybe it's Arabic. I don't know. All right, this video is kind of insane, but we have Amelia Earhart's final flight. So this is some footage. There she is right there. She was the first woman to, I believe, set flight for a transatlantic flight. I think the Wright brothers were the first to fly, but she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fly across the Atlantic.
Before taking off on her flight around the world.
Never mind, she was going around the world, which is insane. Somehow they have footage of her the entire way, and we just lost it, I guess, all of a sudden when the plane crashed. All right, then here we go. These people were true pioneers, just going out there on a random piece of metal, flying it in the sky. Probably the most impressive woman in history. I don't know about that. Okay, so I think she ran low on fuel. There she is driving it, and that is the last frame that we have of Amelia Earhart. I think they actually recently found out where she crashed or something. They found out some information. I don't know what it is. I'm sure you guys are aware. Okay, so here we have a video of the first time that TV ever switched to color. So this must have been like the 1930s or something like that. And here we go. So I don't know what I'm about to see. I'm sure it's gonna be revolutionary. Just imagine you're watching TV on like a black and white TV, then all of a sudden it changes.
Well, Doug, first I'd like to say this, that I feel doubly...
Wow, they're probably like, oh my God, he's white. Pretty historical. And we take it for granted because what you're seeing now is probably in like 1080p, 60 FPS, super colorized, optimized with focus. But this was a pretty big deal at the time. Like, this changed everything forever. All media going forward, print, TV, movies, video games, it was all in color for the most part. I mean, we had to get there with a couple other things, like gaming started black and white, but you got the point. Pretty insane. What you're about to see here is the oldest footage of a US president, and it was William McKinley as he's being sworn in as the 25th president of the US. And there's probably some other people here too. I'm guessing like Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison, a bunch of other OGs. So there's the footage. These people look really short. Let's see if we can get some McKinley on camera. He's like one of the most forgotten presidents too. Oh, so Grover Cleveland, looking distinctly like Dracula. McKinley, okay, so this is McKinley. And he was shot in the stomach 4 years later. And there he is. That's kind of cool. What you're about to watch here is the first ever McDonald's TV commercial. I think it's from 1962, yes. So the year before John F. Kennedy was shot.
Especially when you got delicious McDonald's hamburgers. Ronald, you can't be on TV and watch it at the same time.
So he has a cup on his nose and he has some like lipstick smeared around and he has like a pizza box on his head. What was going on with Ronald?
He's Ronald McDonald.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that gets me excited about going to McDonald's. I think what they should do is just re-release the snack wrap and spicy McNuggets, and then I think we'll be okay. I'm glad they cut ties with Ronald. If you notice, he hasn't actually been in a lot of stuff since. Okay, this is the first ad ever. I know that's a crazy concept, right? This is the first ad. You probably got an ad like watching this video, like a mid-roll. You probably get ads on your phone all the time. It's normalized, but the first ever ad, just marketing, is right here. I don't know what I'm about to see. Bulova.
America runs on Bulova time.
Okay, Bulova. I'm guessing it's a watch company. The first ad ever. They're just like, hey, why don't we just like tell people on this screen to buy our stuff? And then all of a sudden, now we have people paying like $9 million for Super Bowl commercials. But this was the first. I'm sure they didn't even have to pay anything. The people at the TV station were probably like, oh yeah, sure, that's cool, whatever. Next up, we have a video that when I first watched this, I couldn't believe that this was real. And there may be some CGI portion to it, but I still think this is the craziest video on the internet that nobody has ever talked about, including mainstream media. But this is Barack Obama, yes, the president of the United States, showing off in a to a flight attendant while on a plane. So there you'll see him on the phone, and then he just comes right into the aisle here. Everyone's saying, sit down, Barack. And you'll see what he does here. Now he's gonna put his leg up and just basically show off. I mean, it's gonna be blurred, so you guys aren't gonna be able to see it, but just know there's a bulge. There's definitely a Drake level bulge, giving him too much credit. And if you listen closely, He said we're gonna have to defend him for that. This is gonna be on hours of cable news. Never was. Don't like, I'm not a conspiracist, however, that was never talked about. That's crazy. I think they wanted him to get into office, and so they just never released this video on CNN, despite there being like a CNN watermark. Very weird. All right, so here we have footage of Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun playing with a kid. Like, this is legitimately Hitler. They're trying to humanize him by showing him interacting with a dog who I think he loved dearly, and then also a kid who I don't know who this kid is, but there we go. So there's Eva Braun, who was his wife, and that's it. So that's them just kind of in the flesh. I guess not in the flesh, but that's them on camera, not committing war atrocities, just dancing around playing with a kid. Don't know where they got this footage or why they agreed to do this. For maybe it was like positive PR by their agents, if they had those. Here up we have footage of Robert Wadlow, who is 8'11", the world's tallest man in history by like a long shot. So there's his shoes. You'll see it's the entire size of that literal woman's abdomen. Oh my gosh, imagine having that shoe. It's the size of two people's feet. What do you even do when you're that tall? So he had gigantism, I think. He had like a enlarged thyroid or something, or like a pitular gland, whatever it's called. I feel bad. That must be like a really sad life to have to constantly be ducking and stuff and showing off your height like you're some sort of like circus monkey. Do you know, here's a little secret. A lot of people are like, oh, I want to get big, right? Like a lot of you guys probably lift and you're like, oh, the goal is to get big, big, big. But to live long, you really want to be small because you want to have as little of energy expenditure to pump your body as possible. Like if you're operating off of 1,500 calories, you're going to live much longer than somebody, all else equal, that has to pump 2,500 calories worth of energy into their body. It's actually crazy he doesn't even fit into the frame. Like the top of his head, even when like standing really far away, he still can't even get into full frame. All right, so next up we have real footage of Epstein's Island, like really high quality. The color grading's incredible. So this is the island. I'm not sure where it exactly is, somewhere just like lurking. And this is the island he owned. That is the home to and a lot of terrible things. So this is a panorama view. This is like the whole estate, but you'll see like along here, there was like a tennis court, basketball court, yada, yada. There it is. I mean, it's a really nice place not to visit. You don't want to be here, but it is like an objectively beautiful home right on the island. Well, you have to have a lot of money. It's crazy that somebody like him, like a financier, was able to afford something like this because it's not like he was a billionaire, at least publicly. That's kind of wild. Look at that. Imagine owning an island first off. I guess there's like a helipad right here or something. It's like, oh yeah, just come to my island. I wonder if he still owns it technically, like if, you know, it was in his will and he like handed it down to his brother or something. But yeah, this is the house that a lot of people visited, that probably some of your favorite celebrities and politicians, and they all visited this and probably witnessed some terrible things. Okay, so here is, I think, like the really bad area. This is where the worst of the worst went down, so right around here. So right here we have FDR, who had polio or something, and he was unable to walk, but here's actual footage of FDR walking. So FDR was the president through World War II, and he was kind of in a wheelchair, walker, always sitting, but there is some footage of him walking. There's Jake Tapper on the news letting us know that they have dug this up. One of the crazy thing about this, I bet you that CNN's going to like put a claim on me watching the video that's not even theirs. It's not even Penn State Archives video either. It's like a video of something that's like nearly 100 years old. It should be public domain, so I'll keep you posted on that. That's FDR walking, so if you like FDR, now you can see him standing up. Okay, right here is the first ever movie by the Lumiere brothers. This was in 1896, and it's only a minute long, not even. All right, let's try to discover what they're aiming for here. So it's just a single shot of a train arriving. So far it just looks like normal stock footage of people existing from 1896. Not sure how this is a movie. It's a lot of extras in 1896. They must be paying them all like a cent each. Everyone's just getting their stuff. And that's it. That's the movie, I think. I mean, that's as long as this YouTube clip is. It might just be the beginning. Nowadays, people do not have the attention span to just watch 50 seconds of a straight shot. Imagine if Mr. Beast edited this. There would be every half of a second, there would be like 3 different jump cuts and B-rolls and captions and like $10,000 in the corner. This is back when people actually had attention spans. Even myself, I was like, all right, I gotta like pull up Family Guy clips on my phone during that. All right, so this is not for the faint of heart, but this is a Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater footage from 1977. This is so like Five Nights at Freddy Lord. I would have unspeakable nightmares if I was about 4 years old entering Chuck E. Cheese and having these animatronics just speak to me. Oh, okay, here we go.
The big spending birthday parties get a personal welcome from the supersized rodent.
Okay, that's nice. Who's a more famous rodent, Chuck E. Cheese or Mickey Mouse? Definitely Mickey Mouse. All right, so if you guys are British, then you'll definitely appreciate this, but this is home footage of the royal family. So you'll see like Queen Elizabeth and Princess Diana, I think. I don't know. I'm just making up like random royal family members. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. And here they are, because they are people just like you and I, except they're worth probably $1 trillion. There we go. There's some of these. So that's Queen Elizabeth. So who is that? If you're British, can you please school me on what I'm looking at, who these kids are? Is that like Prince Harry? Does that seem right? I think that's King Charles, maybe. Oh, look, and we even have some drawings. Would you look at that? That is historical right there. What we're looking at has never been seen by anybody but us. I feel like most people don't realize that Albert Einstein lived pretty recently. So he was, I think, German, maybe Austrian. He speaks German, but he was on camera multiple times and speaking too, and he was pretty eloquent. So here we go. Now, if you watch Oppenheimer, then you probably saw the Einstein cameo. So it's not that much of a shock. I believe this is him, though, talking about the atomic bomb, perhaps. But there he is. He's just an old German scientist at his core. He's just really, I mean, that's him. He existed. Also, Picasso, a lot of people think he was from like the Renaissance era. He was from like the 1980s. It was like crazy. Picasso could have theoretically watched like Wizard of Oz. All right, this is the Roaring 20s in Palm Beach, Florida. So 1920, women's suffrage. So these ladies are just maybe getting to vote. And this is what things look like. So they got shoes on the beach. They're really not wearing, okay, that guy's kind of dressed more modernly. He looks like a time traveler, perhaps. There's on the Netherlands, people enjoying the beach right after Normandy, I suppose. People, I mean, he's like, why would you wear this to the beach? Now we're up here in Canada. I did not know that there were beaches in Canada. That shows my ignorance. I thought there was like literally just nothing, just mountains, ice, forest, AC. So this is now my territory. Oh, what do you know? In the Ukraine, people were actually wearing swimsuits. So it looks like they were super fashion forward in the Ukraine. I would not expect that. Applying lipstick, see, it's all the same stuff. 100 years later, we're basically the same people. Okay, so shout out to Olden Days for restoring this footage with AI, but this is the Hindenburg. It was one of the world's largest blimps, and it unfortunately exploded in New Jersey, and there's footage of it, and this is what it looked like. So, okay, and there's the Hindenburg just going down in flames here. Kind of live close by to this too. It's just insane. And just a full collapsing. You'll see there's people kind of scurrying away. I don't know why they're getting that close to it. Doesn't really seem like a logical thing to do. Then you have these brave men going in, seeing if they could save anybody, and I'm unfortunately not sure that anybody survived this. Okay, so right here we have Pope Leo the 13th, and what's interesting about this footage you're about to watch is that he is the earliest born person ever captured on film. Why? Because this person right here was born in 1810, which means his parents were probably born in like 1776, right? Like he might have been alive, or his parents were probably alive during the literal independence claim from America 250 years ago. So you're looking at somebody who's getting like stories from his parents about their grandparents who were like predated Napoleon era France. Like insane. This person's on camera and it looks so normal. He just looks like a grandpa from 250 years ago. There he goes. Not much has really changed. You'll see, like humans are humans. Now, of course, we have medicine, this and that, but really not much of a difference. That's probably how I'm gonna look in 70 years. And then people will look back at this video. Well, no one's gonna watch this video, but let's say somebody accidentally stumbles across like a YouTube archive from 300 years from now and they discover this very video. They're gonna be saying that I look like an absolute mess. I'm like, oh, look at that guy. That guy's gross. He's so beat. Okay, so what you're about to see here is Michael Jackson in 1993 testing out a camera. Okay, so literally vlogging.
Frank, I'm just trying to see if this thing works.
Looks like it is.
Just trying this mirror effect, testing the camera, seeing how well it works.
It's so weird seeing these like ultra popular, fairly recent people fiddle around with technology. Like imagine if you told Michael Jackson to upload a video to YouTube, his brain would explode. He died in 2009. No, I'm sure he could have figured it out. He was close enough. I don't even know if he's the most popular artist of all time anymore. I feel like Taylor Swift has passed him. Let me know what you guys think about that. I feel like my brain is pretty split on that, but I think it goes to Taylor Swift now. All right, here we have footage of Mahatma Gandhi, classic, and he's eating some of his favorite food. Yeah, he was a very strict vegetarian by choice. He believed that it was more ethical of a lifestyle to eat only vegetables. There he is, walking around, quite lean. Poor leaving for England for loss by his mother, Puttabal administered an oath to Gandhi not to touch meat. Okay, and he didn't eat any meat. He was a big fan of animals and all things life, very peaceful man. But it is interesting seeing footage of Gandhi. I didn't realize that he actually had footage out there. When did he die? So he died in 1948. He was assassinated. Okay, makes sense that they had footage back then. Okay, so what you're about to watch is a dual duel between two people that took place in France. However, this is staged. This isn't real. Nobody actually gets shot. The gunshot sound was added in post-production. So YouTube, do not censor this just because you're gonna see somebody get shot. They're not getting shot. This is fake. What you're seeing is fake. It's like me doing this. So here we go. Okay, so there we have a duel. People used to literally duel like that. Just imagine you challenge somebody to a duel and then like by whatever means you just die. But yeah, that was a duel or a reenactment of it. So it's pretty cool to see what things look like, how people were actually dying. They had like 1v1s. They're actually sanctioned in certain countries. Like you were allowed to do that. All right, football fans, this is from the 1912 Olympics. We have Great Britain versus Denmark. And this is some extremely good footage. Wow, that net does not look like that's gonna support a kick that goes into the back of it. On-field cameraman. I don't know what this guy's doing. Oh, it's the ref. Goal. Let's see if they celebrated. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? They weren't really showboaty back then. I mean, back then, like people would hit a home run, just jog around the bases, go back to the dugout, and then just like eat a hot dog. So in soccer, I'm sure it's not too different. Where did soccer originate? Was it like Brazil? It probably was England. I feel like England created everything. Them and the Greeks. The Brits and the Greeks have effectively created everything. Or the Persians. I think a lot of the Persians created stuff. Oh, well, look at that. It's actually pretty impressive. WTF is this dribble? You ever like watch something, you think it's really crazy, you go to the comments and the timestamp is exactly when you're watching? Like that just happened. I watched that, I scrolled down and it brought me right back to it. And speaking of football, this is the first American football film ever. And you'll see it's the Princeton Tigers versus the Yale Bulldogs. So cameras were invented, I guess, in like the late 1800s, and then football was invented right around then. And here we go. They were undefeated for 22 games and had not lost to Princeton. And then Princeton won, defeating them 11-6. Wow, that's gotta be scoregami. All right, this is not a fish being hung up at a dry market. What we're looking at here is Houdini escaping, and there's footage. So he was tied up, suspended from the bottom. He was in like a straitjacket, and this is him getting out of it. So he's one of the greatest magicians of all time, and this was called his great escape. So he is now out of it. I wonder if he was able to get down from his legs being tied, because I feel like it's not complete if you don't get rid of that, because you'd still probably die from the blood rushing to your head. I don't know about that. Okay, so here's the first live TV moment in history. This is them tuning from satellite to try and get the signal so that they're going to broadcast for the first time to America.
There it is. There it is.
I remember staying up all night. I was in.
Oh, show me. I don't need this person. Okay, here we go.
Television picture across the Atlantic.
There he is. Now we have a video of Mark Zuckerberg in his first ever interview about Facebook. All right, so here's the dorm room at Harvard, I believe, where Facebook was first started. There's Mark right there. Now he's like a jiu-jitsu champion, training on boats and stuff and like floating devices.
Mark Zuckerberg of the Facebook.com.
They have a keg in the office, literally.
Because I didn't have people's information like a school would in making a Facebook, I needed to make it interesting enough so that people would want to use the site and want to like put their information up, or else it wouldn't be useful for other people.
I mean, he honestly pretty well spoken. I think he's maybe like low 20s here, 20, 21 years old. He does have beer in his hand with a white t-shirt. He seems to be a bit more chill back then, but he still got the same mannerisms. Now he's getting like grilled in Congress about stuff. But this is a pretty cool interview. I didn't know that this existed. So sofa interview with kegs in the office about Facebook. That's something you probably didn't think you'd see. Okay, here's the first ever Nintendo commercial.
This is the birth of the incredible Nintendo Entertainment System, the one to play with Rob, the
Oh, so this was, okay. This is about Rob for the NES.
Will you be the first to raise the incredibly accurate zapper?
Oh, this looks fun. I didn't realize that Rob was in the first commercial. I always used to play with him in Super Smash Bros. And then that was it. He was just kind of annoying when he'd like throw his tacks out, but I didn't realize that he was the character that they utilized in the first commercial. That's pretty cool. Okay, so in line with the first film ever, this is the first ever cartoon. It's called Phantasmagoria from 1908. It's over 110 years ago. Okay. So it's like one of those flip books. If you've ever seen the animations in which people like draw something and then they like change it slightly, and then by the time you flip it through, it looks like it's actually moving. So it looks like that's what we're witnessing here. I mean, cartoons are great because they're so universal, you know? Especially ones that don't speak language, a lot of these silent films. That's why like Cobby Lame is so famous. Anybody can really understand it. I mean, there's a lot going on here. The first ever cartoon, wow. And then The Simpsons has been running for like 35 years now. Pretty amazing. Okay, so this video you're about to see is the very first Vine. So the first Vine to ever exist is this video right here. All right, so it's just somebody showing the menu of, what is this, like a Mexican restaurant? French fries, green salad, asparagus salad. Okay. I mean, it's a Cadillac nachos maybe looks appetizing, but the rest of this, like who's eating sauteed kale and asparagus salad? The first Vine ever. I mean, that's historical. I don't think anybody realizes this video exists. There's quite literally 72 likes on this. History. Oh, this was made by the Vine founder, Dom Hoffman. Okay, so that's why. Pretty interesting. All right, so for all you Marvel fans, here we have Stan Lee, and this is his intro from the 1960s animated Captain America TV show.
I'm Stan Lee, editor of the Marvel Comics Group.
Wow, he really worked there for like 70 years.
Can the enthusiasm for these comic magazines be successfully transferred to another media such as television?
Oh boy, were you in for a real treat when Avengers Endgame pulled like $2.5 billion at the box office, along with every other Marvel film basically breaking $1 billion. This is insane. This is really good foresight. From the 1960s, he's basically out here calling his shot, saying that I think that this is going to transfer over into other mediums like TV. That's incredible. This is pretty crazy. All right, so here's a video from 1928, and it's people talking on the phone, and a lot of people believe that this is the first video of time travelers to be captured, because obviously phones didn't exist in 1928. So there you go, she's on the phone, closes that up. What is she using? Nobody knows. And there's a lot of speculation about this video. And now we have Charlie Chaplin's film, The Circus, 1928, and there's also apparently somebody on the phone right here. You'll see this guy right here behind the zebra, caught in 4K, holding something up to his ear. What else could it have possibly been? Oh, apparently the first clip is a pocketbook. Why would you carry a pocketbook in front of you like that? Oh, you know what? I guess it could be. Maybe that's not a cell phone. Maybe it's like a little handbag that she's carrying. All right, so this video is kind of crazy, but this is an actual look. It's 45 minutes, so I highly suggest checking out this documentary, but it's North Korea, like inside of it. Some guy just like traversed it for I think like a week or so. So it just, you get a glimpse into what their life is like and kind of what it looks like inside of that zone there. I'm just gonna skip around a bit. So they don't have tour guides. I don't think they speak English there at all, so I don't know how this guy is getting the translations. Okay, so all of a sudden we have Kim Jong-un on a roller coaster because he's a big fan of that. Okay, so everybody's getting scanned. I guess they don't want any assassination attempts on Kim. It kind of looks like Russia and China combined, which I guess is kind of geographically fair. Very desolate though. All right, if you're a sports fan, this is the last time that Muhammad Ali has ever boxed. This was in Iran. There he is. He looks kind of old, looks a little beat up at this point in his career. Let's see if he still's got it. All right, I'm not sure who he's fighting. Let's check it out. So this is his last fight. I wonder if it's an actual fight or if it's more so just like charity sparring. Okay, yeah, it looks like he's just kind of playing around. I don't think this guy's even throwing punches. Let's see if he gets any hits in. No? Yeah, so he's just having fun. But that's the last time Muhammad Ali has ever appeared on camera fighting somebody. All right, for you soccer fans, here's some footage of 16-year-old Messi, the greatest soccer player to ever touch the ball. And here he is playing. This is some rare footage, apparently. I'm not sure if it actually is. I'm not a big soccer fan. Got the gold cleat on his left foot. And I mean, I would say he was kind of a beast at 16 just off of these dribbles alone. I don't know much about soccer, but I do know that Messi's goated. I feel like that's all there is to know. He's the only soccer player who makes me appreciate soccer. Like, it feels like he was born to play this game. Okay, so this is the first introduction of SpongeBob. So this is the first sneak peek commercial.
SpongeBob SquarePants big sneak peek, right after Kids' Choice.
That is amazing. And now he's arguably the most iconic character of all time across like all types of media. He's definitely top 5. It's like him, Mickey Mouse, Mario, and that's it. Like, those are the top 3. Okay, so here we have the iconic Marilyn Monroe, and this is her when she sings Happy Birthday to John F. Kennedy in 1962. This dress is worth like $7 million or something crazy. I think Kim Kardashian ended up wearing it. But yeah, this thing was auctioned for a lot. So here, look what happens when she takes off the fur coat, because a lot of people have never seen like a nude color before, so they think she's naked. They gasp quite literally. Like, they don't realize it's just like a sparkly nude dress. And here she is now singing happy birthday to her lover.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, that's it. She was like, yeah, she's kind of like what I think Kim Kardashian wants to be, just kind of like an icon for being an icon. I don't really know what she did. Was she like an actress or singer? But one of those. Okay, here's one of the final videos of Tupac. So he died in 1996. Here's his final birthday and some like behind the scenes look at kind of his life at home. I'm not like the biggest Tupac fan. I actually don't think hip hop's like good music, honestly. Or rap, I should say. I like hip hop. I don't like rap. Pulled out a That's a huge Heinz ketchup. So, I mean, he's just doing his thing. He's just existing. I'm not sure why somebody's even recording this. Maybe he was filming like a documentary or something. All right, so you saw the first commercial for SpongeBob. Here's the first commercial ever for Sonic the Hedgehog, 1991.
This new Sonic the Hedgehog, oh, he really doth my doilies. They say he's incredibly fast. Well, what's the hurry, mister? Why can't it be more like that nice boy Mario? Oh! Little brat!
That's crazy, because typically you wouldn't see advertisers calling out other IP by name, because that's just giving free marketing to them. So the fact that they name dropped Mario in the midst of competition with Mario, I mean, that's wild. Then they collabed for the Olympics game, which was honestly not that good, but still iconic. All right, now we got Eminem at home in 1992. He's definitely doing something. Is that him? How old is Eminem now? So he must have been like 20 there. So he's probably like 50 something now. This video is kind of crazy, and I'm not sure a lot of people have seen this, but this is a serial killer that appeared on the show The Dating Game. His name is Rodney James Alcala. So we're gonna see a little snippet of what a serial killer actually looks like when he's trying to, I guess, court a woman.
Would you say hello to Cheryl, please?
That's him.
We're gonna have a great time together, Cheryl.
You're a dirty old man. Take it.
Come on, over here.
People were on something back then. Like, that's flirting. This does not seem like flirting to me. This just feels like some weird, like, fetish being. I don't know if this was before or after the murders. Let's see what this guy even did. Okay, so Rodney James Alcala, his true number of victims remains unknown and could be much higher than they believe, as high as 130. What? Oh my gosh. I'm glad was he killed? Was he put to death? Sentenced to death, okay. This guy right here, what an abhorrent individual.
Well, I like bananas, so I'll take one.
Number one. That's your number one.
She chose oh my gosh. He was already a murderer when he was on this show. Can't stress how lucky this woman was. Okay, so she apparently never went on the date with him because he was too creepy, and that is the biggest bullet dodge in history, quite literally, for her. Okay, and then finally, we have this video of a car going down here. This is a video that nobody's ever seen. It's a really cool video, though. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content, make sure to click here or click here. Otherwise, subscribe on your way out, and I will see you next time. Peace.